Hey everyone, welcome to the Wealth and Wellness podcast. Today's topic is what's the price tag on your dreams? In today's latest episode, we're going to talk about sacrifice, investments, budgeting, and how we all shared a testament on how we were able to put a price tag on our dreams and how much money and time and energy it cost us. So wanted to ask you guys just straight off the bat, how much did your dream cost you?
Well, I just want to say what up first and foremost. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. And, it's a beautiful thing that you brought this up. I'm glad we are here to talk about it. I'm Eder, one of the co-hosts. But like I was telling y'all earlier, I think it costs everything for your dreams and what it is you have to sacrifice and what it is you have to go through in order to achieve your dream. I mean, that's what I can say on that little topic right there.
What we talked about earlier, I totally agree with that. I think that it is everything, but I think it's everything in priority. Like, making sure you're prioritizing and knowing what the cost of that is. What is the cost of me as a mom? Sometimes it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow when you're trying to go after your dreams and goals, and then, well, do I spend time with my kids or do I do this? Do I spend time with family or do I do this? So it's one of those things where if you're not prioritizing, you could really lose a lot, right? So it's making sure that there's a healthy balance of if it's going to cost me a lot, but being clear about the end result of what we want. You know what I'm saying? For me, and making sure that I know what I want and what it's worth. Like, is it worth this time away from my daughter? Is it worth this time away from my family to get that? So is the greater good versus this temporary sacrifice? And that's what it is. It's temporary. Right. And I think people, when we saying, hey, I'm willing to risk it all, it's only temporary. It ain't forever. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because eventually you're supposed to reach the goal, right? So so if you're going for it, once you reach it, is it worth the sacrifice? Because I don't want to look up, the Bible says, you gain the whole world and you lose your soul, right? So you don't want to go after something and you look around, was it worth it? So I just want to make sure, I'm one of those people who want to make sure everybody around me, we all evolving at the same time. It is not like me reaching a goal. The goal is we all sitting on the beach. We all got something going. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what it is.
I'll say for me, going to school, I went to school to get my undergrad degree and my graduate degree. And I would say I had to sacrifice so much. Like, I could not go out. I couldn't hang out with my friends. I was studying in the Langston Library until like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I feel like I had to do that though in order for me to get where I wanted to be today. So, I mean, the cost I had to pay, it was pretty heavy at the time because I was struggling financially. I couldn't afford to do some of the things that a lot of people was doing. And, but I kept trying to keep the end in mind. Like, hopefully one day I would be more financially secure. Hopefully one day this will all pay off, even if I didn't see what it was going to look like in detail. But I'll say just sacrificing time, spending, having the luxuries of what it was at the time. Looking like people was living their best life when I was fresh out of high school. And I decided to go to college, so it was challenging.
But the question is, was it worth it?
Oh no, it's definitely worth it now. I feel the security now. It all paid off now. So it worked out.
Especially
but at the time, I couldn't see it though. So the road was gray and was really, really gloomy at the time. But I'll say it definitely worked out.
And I think that's the biggest thing, prioritizing those things. And when I say sacrifice it all, because to me personally, I mean, we only here for a certain period of time, and you can't take it all with you. So. To me, I feel like we shouldn't leave anything here and leave anything undoubted of we didn't sacrifice it all, to give it all, to take 100% of anything. And I don't want to say sacrifice family or friends, because like you said, you couldn't go out all the time like you wanted to just because you had other priorities to take care of. But sometimes you got to lose friends, and sometimes family members ain't going to be on board with what you got going on. So when I say sacrifice it all, that means even if you gotta lose certain people, even if certain people have to be, eliminated from your life, and it could only be for a certain period of time that you might be doing these things. But man, you gotta go for it all. Sacrifice whatever it takes to get to the goal on what you're trying to accomplish. One thing I wanted to ask y'all though is we talk about dreaming big. So I looked at it at two stages of my life. When I was a kid, they always tell me, "What's your dreams? What do you want to be? What kind of dreams do you have?" And then now, being an adult, I got different type of dreams, or I see dreams differently.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me what was a dream of y'all's as a kid compared to now?
Yeah. I feel like as a kid, I always dreamt. I thought that I was gonna be like in the medical field. I mean, I am kind of in the medical field, but I thought I was gonna be like some type of anesthesiologist. It's gonna be some type of doctor, and just living like this big luxurious life and just having fun, enjoying my time. But honestly, now like that I'm an adult, I feel like more of my dream is more about just being stable, having good, genuine people around me, being financially secure. And just having good health, which is most important for me.
And more NFL dates.
You said what?
More NFL dates.
NFL days?
Yeah, that's what she into.
Why not?
Yeah.
The opportunity is
So yeah, I would say just, enjoying my life, which I am enjoying it now more than I ever thought that I would. But I would say like, I lived in poverty, so it was like I couldn't see past a certain point. It just worked out though.
For me, I wanted to go to school to be a lawyer. So I
could see that.
School to be a lawyer because I like arguing my points. But anyway,
Ice mode.
but I actually wanted to own my own practice. It wasn't just about being a lawyer because I was part of a program. I don't want to necessarily say the name of the program because I don't know if that's politically right what we're supposed to do on here. So, but I was in a program with the Chamber of Commerce when I was young, and I got to experience working in different aspects of law. Like every summer, we worked in a different law firm or different corporation where their legal department or whatever. And so I knew that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't know what capacity. I like going to court. That was the most fun I ever had. I literally was, all the other stuff was kind of boring to me, but going to court and really being in front of the judge was the most exciting part. However, so this is when you weigh your dream, right? I said, what it'll cost me because number one, I grew up around too many people, right? And so I just never wanted to be compromised. I never wanted my friendship to compromise my money, right? If somebody come to me and say, "Hey, sis, could you look out for me?" Well, I know you did it because I know you. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to get you off, and I know you did it, right? So do I want to be in a position where I have to be challenged like that? Because that's what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to be I was really going to be a prosecutor.
It's not too late.
And it's not too late.
Yeah, it's late. It's over.
You know what?
It's over.
I only got to go to grad.
Price is
But I wanted to run my own practice because I saw that if you ran your practice, then I didn't have to I could go to court when I wanted to, but I could run the firm, right? I wanted my name on the building, right? So I had big ambition like that. But so as I got older, I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was really what it was. Law was just a way to get there, right? And I had to look at the capacity. What I learned from a couple of lawyers, like most of the lawyers had degrees, were in different backgrounds that had nothing to do with law. So what made you? And that's what gave me the thought process of, okay, not just focus on this one thing, broaden your perspective. And so so I had the opportunity. I've had so many opportunities to do a lot of different things. So but for me personally, I just wanted to do something where I felt like I had control. Because the one thing about it was the little odd jobs I've had, or I shouldn't say odd jobs, I had some great jobs,
was
but
odd.
they were it was the control. Like I felt like my life, I couldn't make decisions on my own. You got to give the company motto. Like it don't make no sense. But you still got to tell it to the customer. So I just didn't want to be in those type of positions. I wanted to have control over my life, right? Something that she was saying about I've been in those positions where I'm working. I can't go to the family function. I can't hang out with my friends. But in the end, my dad told me something a long time ago. He said, when you're going after your dreams, you have to be around people who help you get your dreams. If people are your real friends, if they genuinely your friend, they're gonna be your friend whether you broke or on the street or you rich and you living on the hills, right? If they genuinely, real genuine friends, right? So you have to be okay to walk away from people who ain't meant to be in your life forever. And it was just
Yeah.
one of those things for me, like, do I have to be, are these people supposed to be in my life forever? And I'm a genuine person. Like I value my friendships, right?
Yeah.
So the friends that I've had, we've all been friends for 30, 25, 30 years, right? So it's genuine, right? So those type of things. But I still gotta walk away. Hey, I ain't gonna be at the barbecue. I ain't gonna be here because I gotta reach this goal because it's important to me, right? And so making sure to step away from those things and doing that.
Yeah, I would say I wanted to be a poet. Well, I was a poet. I used to write a lot of poetry for a lot of women, young and old. Older than yeah. I used to, I used to do a lot of that.
Mr. Charles.
Red on red. Yeah, that's it.
Get your
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, something like that. But it was a little, more classier. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I used to write a lot of poetry. I wrote like 200
Wow.
poems.
Wow.
In the fourth grade.
You still have
Yeah, I still got a lot of old poetry that I've written.
there you go.
But yeah, like I used to
Uh-oh. Don't say nothing.
I know, right? Nah, I used to write a lot of them to some women, like personalize it sometimes, and I think I really enjoy doing that. But I think as time progressed, I'm like, man, how am I gonna make money out of this? Like, what am I-
You was gonna turn into the Hallmark. You was
Hallmark?
You should have been creating cards and selling them. Like,
Yeah, but you
game, brother. You ain't got no game. Look at
Now you just poetry in motion, huh?
Yeah.
basically. Hey, you crazy boy. Ain't nothing like a friend like an editor, boy. I'm telling you.
So how that lead you into
Where you at
the
now?
mindset that you got now? With
Honestly had to put it on a back burner, but I had to use my creativity in other ways. And I think that's where the business savviness comes out to play. And it's kind of like using my words to kind of using it to where like I could, get people to do certain things when it comes to like communicate with them, like knowing how to communicate and using different types of words. And, they kind of do. Yeah, I know. But but it's just, it's business. Yeah, persuasive. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, gotta be. I'm a Pisces too, so,
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we do. But nah, but like I said, I feel like a lot of that had to be blurred out because I was in poverty too. So
Yeah.
a lot of things I just had to, figure it out.
Yeah. You get a survivor mode.
Yeah, it's
You gotta
just,
get there. We
you
got
got to.
time be
Indeed.
too big now.
Yeah, like them girls weren't paying me no money, sending y'all personal letters, poetry, I mean? Like, come on now. Like, I gotta make something happen. Like, so.
hey,
but,
you got the practice though. Yeah,
yeah, definitely got the practice. Now that paid off. That paid off, boy. I'm telling you, that definitely paid off. But yeah,
Talk up.
yeah, that's what it was.
I mean, for me, I would kind of say I got two things that I wanted to be when I was younger, and the first one, it's probably not gonna be a surprise for y'all, but I wanted to play in the NFL. Like most of the people where I come from, that's kind of what we see: basketball players, football players.
All the time. So you dead.
I mean, me and Odell, like 2 years apart. So it wasn't like I was looking up to him, but there's plenty of other, but you look at guys like that have that type of lifestyle, that live, that play at a high level. Say that again.
What's your position? Running back.
Safety.
So I would just say I was a defensive back.
Okay.
That's mainly the position that I played when I went off to college, and when I went off to college, defensive back. But in high school, I was playing a little bit of everything. But I would say our team wasn't great, so we needed, we needed it. I went to a Cincinnati public school, so we didn't have all the resources.
Yeah,
But
that's
don't get me wrong, we had good players, and I would say majority of them we had good coaches, but the good coaches, on top of the resources, on top of just what they was able to do to help us and put us in positions to like get to the NFL, I don't believe was there compared to some of the other places around here. Me and DeVoe go to a place where we mentor these kids that go to St. X, Roger Bacon, other schools that have a lot more resources that I see that those schools or like CPS schools don't have. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. But a little bit of everything in high school, and then you know, I would say that's just kind of where I came from, and what I saw all the time is being, you know, NFL player, and I think I was pretty good at football. Most of the people,
He was all right.
some people, I would say some people that I've been around that I played with would say I'm one of the best players that they ever played with. So I don't take that lightly, even though I don't like to like brag and stuff like that about myself. But I do need to also give myself credit because I believe, and I got records, you know, that back that up. But anyway, going on to that, when you good in high school, you feel like you can play it at NFL. So, you know, went on to do that. I played, you know, college football or whatever. And I went to a junior college at a certain point. Well, I went to a Division II school out of high school. I left there. Then I went to a junior college where I realized I wasn't a starter. And that up until that point, I started, you know, wherever team I played on. And it's been like 3 or 4 teams. Besides my freshman year in college, I redshirted. I didn't play that whole year. But before that started, and then when I went up there, I wasn't a starter. And then I started to realize there's a lot of good niggas out here that play football. Like, you're around the same people that you were around, you know, just in high school. And then even going from high school to college, you got a lot of people that just play football in college or in high school. Anybody can really get on, not anybody, but most people could just get on the team. So jumping from that, going to college and realizing that, you know, the NFL is not for a lot of people. Plus my size, looking at the size that I was compared to other NFL players, it didn't knock me off my dream. It just made me realize that the dream that I had may not come true. So I started to focus on a lot of other things that got me to where I was. And then the other thing that I wanted to be was a doctor. And I didn't really have like a specific doctor that I wanted to be, or a specific kind of doctor, but I used to watch Dr. House, or the TV show House. I don't know if I've ever seen that, but this guy,
He was smart.
Gregory House, super smart, but he was an asshole. And that's kind of how I feel, the type of personality that I have. And I always wanted to kind of be like that because that was just a show that I always watched. But as I went on, we talk about our dreams and the things that we have to sacrifice for our dreams. As I started looking into it, going to college, I'm like, dang, you got to do this amount of time in college to be a doctor. Plus, you got to, you know what I'm saying, pay this amount of money. And not that that's a wrong thing to do or, you know, anything is wrong with that. But for me at the time, it was like juggling football and trying to be a doctor and trying to, you know, well, just realizing, knowing the school that I go to, are they offering me the best things that, you know, that I can to be a doctor? So that kind of took a toll on it. But now, you know, I've done so much schooling. I've done a lot of other things. I'm looking at it as now like my dreams haven't shifted in a sense because I'm not going to play in the NFL, don't get me wrong, but I can still be a part of the NFL in a capacity, whereas I don't have to play. I could train, I could own, I could do so many other things as to whereas the NFL could still be my passion. Plus, I think being a doctor, to me, schooling is only education hours. So if you sit down and educate yourself, if I educate myself 400 hours on a subject, why can't I say I'm an expert? Just because I don't have a degree, in a sense.
But you say you
That is not true, because I remember that dude. No, that dude got away with saying that he was a doctor.
Wear the glasses.
That dude got away saying he was a doctor.
A long time.
But and to me, that's the problem that I kind of have with the society that we live in. I understand you need credibility, but to me, they make you go to school. They make us go to school, pay all this money, and then you basically still stuck. You know, even as a doctor, you can't really, I mean, you could practice what you want to practice, but you still confined to the laws of society. Same right now, though. If I learn enough to be a doctor, but I don't go to school, I'm still confined to everything. It's
It's a standard.
yeah.
Well,
so-
I got a question for everybody. Why have people not went after their goals? Like, why are people sacrificing? Like, we're talking about the things that we want to accomplish, and we know that price tag can be heavy for some people, depending on what they want to become, right? However, why are so many people not taking advantage of all the opportunities, because there are out there, and I hear so many people say, well, there's no opportunities and this, that, and the third. I'm like, listen, we live in a world where you got 15 people with a different hustle, and you got 15 people doing the same hustle, and they all making money. You know what I mean? So we can't say the same things anymore. But what do you guys feel why people are not paying the price to have that?
Well, I'm looking at some things. I'm looking at some things right now. This, light, mics, background, table, shirts, hair, earrings, necklaces, you know what I'm saying? Cameras,
Fedoras.
fedoras. Like, I feel like all of that, like, it's an investment. Like, and people really just don't want to invest,
Yeah.
like, in themselves. And it's sad to say, because I come across a lot of business owners and they still complaining about paying for something, and it's like, hey, this is the cost of doing business. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I got for them. I ain't saying nothing else on that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll sorry, where you going?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's the lack of consistency. People just don't want to pay the price because it requires consistency. When your first year in business, you're not gonna succeed. You're not gonna make it, like, as far as like making all these thousands of dollars and having all this cash flow coming through. It takes at least 5 years. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, until you start to see some type of profit when you start a business. So I think, being more specifically, but I think it takes some time, and you got to be consistent. Some people just don't have the patience.
Yeah, depending on and that's dependent upon, like, what type of situation that you in, especially when we look at people probably like us that really don't have the financial backing or the resources or understand money. It probably definitely gonna take us
True.
a little bit longer than somebody else that has that either got out everything they need in order to propel those businesses.
But
So,
it's still people
yeah.
who don't use resources when they have them.
That's true,
at
too.
their disposal.
Yeah.
But it's a
Mhm.
word that I'm looking for. I want to see if one of y'all know say that word.
I was gonna say, I mean, my 3 things that just come to mind is what he said: investment. People don't really know how to invest in themselves, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing that you need to do. I talk about it all the time. Like, you have to put knowledge into your brain in order to, take advantage of these type of resources and things that you want. And then I would say another one is resources. Looking at the resources, finding the resources, knowing how to get resources to take advantage of. And people just, they don't know how to do that, and then they don't want to do that, which leads me to the next point: is they just consistency or laziness, or not being able to understand how to do these certain things. Like, you too comfortable in the lifestyle that you may already have. And the bad thing about it is the society that we live in is very comfortable to me, because I feel like, I don't want to say how much I make, but I make a little bit more over the average American of what they say, what they say the average American has. But I don't feel like I go crazy, with, buying material things, but I live a decent lifestyle for myself. And I have fun. I hang with friends. I buy good clothes. I get
vacation.
Yeah, go on vacation when I
your
want
shirt
to.
off,
So
doing all types of stuff.
whatever, yeah. Going to the gym, you feel me? I can do that type of stuff though, just because, I work for it, for one. But it's also a point where I could get comfortable with just doing those type of things when I haven't experienced another level of what's even out there. So I would say the comfortability for a lot of people is what got a lot of people wrapped up, and why they don't take advantage of it. And I mean, even like I talked to DeVoe about this, the smartphone to me is the best invention that we have on this planet, simply because I can contact anybody pretty much who I want to. And pretty much now you got FaceTime. I can see anybody. And you got news at your fingertips. Plus, most of the people got money on there. So having these phones and having the advantage of that is it keeps you comfortable with certain things because you don't need to get out of your comfort zone with doing these a lot of things. But just imagine if you lost your cell phone, how you gonna survive? Or if the internet got shut off, how we gonna survive? You feel me? And you know that's a part of just the life that we come.
You got two cell phones now?
One for the plug and one for the low. You ain't never heard that before?
Oh yeah, he got that money now. Yeah, he got money now, y'all. He got two cell phones.
Talking.
He got money.
You must know what money look like, I guess. Yeah.
Hit on what I was trying to say. It's conformity is the word, right? People conform to the environment. Like if we took the graduating class, like let's say we could just pick any school, right? The top
West High.
West High. Okay, so we pick the top 25. We take 25 graduates. They 18 years old. If we go out here and ask every last them what they want to do, they got this long list of I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, and I'm gonna be this, and I'm gonna be that. Right? So we could cut that in half. Say how many of y'all got a list? What's y'all goal that make it happen? Right? Do any of y'all actually have a goal set out to get this? That's probably half of those people, right? And then when it comes time to try to come to do the work, it's probably only 5 of those people and those kids who gonna reach their goal. You know why? Because those are the people who was visualizing, who was doing the work and this, that, and the third, and everybody else started doing what everybody else was doing. You know, when you think about when you go after your goals, how many people tell you, well, why are you doing that? Right. And I mean, well, you want to be a business for yourself, why you just don't get a job like everybody else? It's conformity. It's so many people conforming to what everybody else is doing, and then you ask them like, what do you want? I don't know. Well, why should I go after that? They have no idea what they want to do, and so now you inside of somebody else's goal.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. Because I started the business and I hired you, so now you don't know what you want to do, but I know where I'm going, and I'm gonna need your 24 hours, right? And so now I'm putting you inside of my dream, and you helping somebody else build their dream because you didn't make a decision of what you wanted to do. It's conformity. Conformity is what kills people's dreams, right? They start doing what everybody else doing, and they do it idly. They don't even think about it. Sure. They don't even stop and think like, why am I doing this? Think about how many people be like, I don't like my job. But you're like, why you do it? Well, I don't know. They just hired me. They gave me a job. Like, but you're doing something that you don't even want to do. Yeah. You've been doing this for 20 years, and you don't even want to do it. You don't even like what you're doing. You don't even like yourself. Right. Doing the job.
Right.
But when you ask people about it, that's why she got so many people lined up in the therapy. They need to talk to somebody because you don't live in your life all these years. You don't know what you want to do, right? So it's conformity is what's killing so many dreams. We have to quit doing what everybody else is doing and justifying it. Like, well, they happy. You see what I'm saying? Right, I don't know what you make, but if I'm looking at your life, I'm like, well, he working out every day. I want to do what he doing. I don't know what you sacrificed. I don't know what you worked through. I don't know what you had to learn to get to where you at. But now I'm looking at you like, I'm start going to the gym too. And I'm start putting my little pictures on Facebook. And I can't take off the shirt. I might have a bra on, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey.
Depends on what site you on.
But anyway, still, like, it's conformity. I'm just doing what somebody else is doing.
Yeah, fact.
And not even knowing what you don't. So was that what you wanted to do? That's why I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why there's so many people who are depressed, so many people who out here lost, but they still in other people's dreams. Because here you go, you come along and you telling them like, man, I want to do this, that, third. That's why you got to be mindful of who you talking to. You can't speak nothing into my life. I ain't telling you what I got going on. You don't need to know because you can't do nothing to help me get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, how you doing? We can talk about what you got going on. I'm about to tell you about my dreams. You might try to steal them. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people stealing other people's dreams because they don't know. And I feel like that is a big reason. And we have to be mindful of that. Like, people have to ask yourself, like, are you where you want to be? And we're not talking about financially successful. I know when we talk, we're talking about wealth and we're talking about finances, but are you doing what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? It's somebody out here who wants to be a mom.
Okay.
And I was gonna say, I think in order for you to get to understand like who you are and what you want to do, you do got to take that time out for yourself. Do that self-healing journey so you can explore like more about what aligns with your values, what makes sense to you. But I think a lot of times people don't take that time out for themselves. They don't figure out like, okay, you know what, this is about to be the time out. Maybe we need to make it a thing. And like when people grow up, like, all right, for these ages of years of your time, you need to just spend time just figuring out who you are, like what you like to do, what you enjoy doing. And I think maybe that would make people show up a little bit more authentically. But I think that's part of the issue.
Well, it's also pressure. I mean, think about when we all, maybe not the vote, but maybe when we all went to high school or whatever, when we graduated, I don't know how old none of y'all are, but when I know he's younger than me though, but anyway, but when I graduated, let me
say he didn't graduate.
no, that's not what I meant. I meant the era. See, when I graduated, everybody, it was always go to school, right? And so everybody is pushed into this arena. When you get there, some people feel lost. Some people feel like, just like kind of what you was alluding to, like, hey, I'm in high school and I feel like the superstar. But then when I get in high school, I'm like, I don't know this world. Everybody here smart. You know, I was the honor roll student in high school, but I get in here, everybody knows something. Like, you know, it's so knowing how to level up and step up into that game and own who you are in this new realm, right? And so it's just, a lot of people are being, we persuade our kids to, hey, you need to go to school, but instead of, what do you want to do? What are you good at? Or recognizing and honing in on that, like, you know what, this kid is good at this. Let me help them get a trade. Let me exposing them and take, when you see it, take them somewhere. And I remember these girls, I don't want to put their names out there. But embarrass them. But they no. I don't want to embarrass them. But they just had never went anywhere, and it just, you know, as I'm like, dang, I mean, I felt like they ain't never been past 275. I mean, real deal. Like, you know, it is, to be honest, it is people out here who do not go past the 275 loop. They probably ain't never been to Westchester, ain't never been, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's people. That's where conformity comes in at. I'm so comfortable here. I don't want to explore. We've all lived in some form of poverty, and we're like, it gotta be something better than this. I mean, it just gotta be something better than this.
We hope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, but okay, so like when we was young, we lived in it was called Richmond Village. Today is the Ezra Charles Apartments, right? And we lived in Richmond Village when we was kids, and we loved it. It was our home, you know, whatever. But my dad, he was like, when we moved to Mount Auburn, my dad was like, we got to live somewhere different. Because my dad said when they was younger, and my grandmother used to say, okay, y'all, we about to move, right? And so he's like, oh, okay. They would tell all the kids in school, like, oh, we moving. We going to a different school next week. He said we would move from John Street to Lynn Street and still be at Hayes on Monday, like, oh, well, I thought y'all was moving. He was like, so he just didn't want that for us, right? And so as a parent, he moved us to a different neighborhood. He exposed us to different things so that we could make the decision. I'm grateful for those decisions because that's what we are today, right? So I'm just saying, like, we have to start doing that conformity and exposing our kids to more things so that they can make better choices and see themselves outside of where they're at.
One thing I would say is that this is a quote that I got from one of my mentors, and it's, if you don't work to achieve your own goals, you'll work for somebody else to achieve their goals. And I think, you know, we talk about, I mean, it's not necessarily the problem, but it's what people are doing. I say one of the solutions, and that I found for myself, is literally finding out how to actually write goals for yourself. What is the goal? What is the goal? What it's going to take to accomplish the goal? Is the goal realistic? They call them SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable. It got a timetable, relevant, and it got a timetable.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are things that I feel are a solution of what it is to, you know, what people can do. And these are things that I think that the biggest thing too is, like, we all realize this. This is a pretty simple concept to understand, but it's about the continuous doing, the continuous action of actually writing down these goals, looking at these goals, reviewing these goals, doing these goals, and taking action to make sure these specific things get done to help you accomplish the goal. And I think on top of that, you won't conform as much to what somebody else is doing if you are taking the time to write out what you actually think that you want for yourself. So I don't know, like, if people don't understand that concept of, let me look at, Eder, he taking his shirt off, he doing all this, he going to the gym, da-da-da-da. I want to be like him. It's cool, I feel like, for somebody to want to be like me, because I do that for other people to want to be like that, to want to be in good shape, to want to walk around with their shirt off because it's hot as hell, you feel me?
Right.
Or on the beach because that's just what they do.
Yeah.
So I don't say, oh, go try to be like Eder. I would say, like you said, what is Eder doing to sacrifice, to get to where it is? And once you learn how to do that, that's who you become, who you are, in a way, and in the sense of doing things. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I love the fact that you brought up the SMART goals, because that was one of my gems that I was gonna drop, but we already beat to the point, but it's okay.
Like mine still alone.
Yeah, but I think that is really the biggest thing that's gonna separate the doers from the people who just wishers, If you actually have a goal and you actually write it down in that SMART measure, I feel like that's what helps you to be more likely to be successful, because you actually write something down and you're having a timetable. You're saying, like, okay, this is how I'm gonna measure if I'm actually gonna achieve this goal, and then you're being specific as possible. You're not just saying, like, oh, well, I just wanna, have this leadership type of job, but you're not being specific on what type of job you want to have. How can you get yourself in those rooms to get that job? So being more specific about it.
Yeah. So it sounds like we already, and what's crazy is we all kind of on alignment, because y'all already dropped the gym. I was just about to tell him we about to do this segment, drop a gym. So y'all already did it. So I'll drop mine real quick. Manifesting what you want, because I feel like a lot of people, I be talking to people and they don't understand, like, some people have some people already destroy their dreams before they already put them out. Like, when the thought came to your mind about what you said you can't do or what you won't do, like, you already then destroyed your dream. It's over with. It's a wrap. Like, it's over. And people like, one chick was like, why would you say that? I'm like, because you already done thought it. You already done manifested it. So that's going to be the outcome for what you want, unless you change your mindset and be like, you know what, I am going to do this. This is how I'm going to do it. This is the plan, and those type of things. So you got to manifest. You got to be just more optimistic about, like, your mindset.
Can you elaborate manifestation? Because a lot of people, we use I know, but we use manifestation a lot. We tell you need to manifest it, you need to manifest it. But what is that? What is the actual steps to manifest it? So you spoke on one of them, which is, speaking better, changing your language, a big thing.
I can chime in on that.
Go ahead.
So manifestation more is like walking by faith. So it's like the substance of things that you can't see, but you're hoping that it will come to pass. So you're actually trying to walk in the reality of whatever it is that you're hoping for. So that's the bigger part. I guess that's the short answer to get you right to the chase. But that's manifestation in a nutshell.
Well, you have to see it before you can seize it, right? You have to
See it before you can seize it.
But you have to visualize. I mean, you have to visualize where you want to be. That visualization is so important. Like, every day that you're going after a goal, you need to take a day, close your eyes, and manifesting it for me is visualizing yourself in that goal, the feelings that you're gonna feel, the what
everything.
it looks like. You should have a very vivid description. I mean, the smell of the room, what it's gonna feel like, the people cheering your name or whatever it is. You should visualize it so much that you start, like, the universe starts, like, bringing it to you.
Sure.
Because that's how manifestation works. It's like it starts with, hey, you gotta become who you want to become, whoever you are right today, right? Like, step into it. Step into it. If I'm gonna start wearing a suit every day, I don't care where you're going. You can go to the
Just be like me.
or listen, don't go to the jazz festival. Go to the office every day, right? But anyway, but seriously, like, step your game up, clean yourself up. Like, you know, in the Bible, when Ruth was trying to go after Boaz or whatever, right? God has some stuff for her to do, right? Like, hey, you gotta clean yourself up. So her Esther, the mother was cleaning her up. Hey, you need to clean yourself up. You gotta look a certain way. You need to stand over here. You gotta lean a certain way to pick up the, you know what I'm saying? So he can see you, so you can stand out to what you want, right? And those tips, I'm not trying to tell you the tips to go get you a man. I'm trying to tell you, like, hey, these are the things that you need to do when you're going after something. Start being in that. I heard T.D. Jakes tell this story one time, and he was talking about how him and his wife, they were like on vacation. They was at a hotel, right? You know, you get to the hotel, I'm about to go to the pool, right? He said, so we got on our pool clothes and we go to the lobby and there's a wedding going on, and everybody is dressed up. So we instantly stand out. So everybody looking at us like, we all going, like, you know, we instantly was out of place, right? Because everybody was going in a different place than what we was going. He was like, and sometimes you gotta dress for where you going. Dress for the place that you're going to. Heck, we was going to the pool. We was dressed to go to the pool. We weren't dressed to go to the event. And so we got to start looking at that like, hey, step into that. If you're going to be a doctor, if you got to wear your scrubs every day to make you feel like you a nurse, do that. Whatever you got to do, I feel like that part of it is feeling, like that big feeling. It's what DeVoe said was so important. Change your language.
Yeah, that's important.
Quit speaking all this out. I don't. Take the words out of your vocabulary.
I hate it.
I can't. I stop. I don't want to. I don't think I can do it. I don't like you killing whatever.
You are toxic. Toxic.
Self-sabotaging.
So bad in the world, because once you start speaking life, the universe is like, oh, so that's what she want to do?
Right.
Let me bring it to you.
Yeah.
And when you keep speaking all this negativity, the world is like, what do you want?
Right.
I don't think she wanted. I don't, you know, we was talking about this when we was talking about money a couple of episodes ago, talking about how people say, I don't want money, I don't want this, I don't want that. And then they wonder why they don't have nothing.
Yeah.
Because you speaking it away from you. You know what I mean? And I'm saying we have to start speaking about these things to make them start coming towards us.
And I'll say a gem that I'll drop is write the vision and make it plain. You know, like a lot of the times, a lot of the people that come and talk to me, they have issues with feeling like they just stuck. They just kind of just going in a circle. And the reason why you're going in a circle is because you have a dream, but you don't have a plan. And so a lot of the times we got to sit down, we got to write those specific tasks, which we talked about, but we got to write those things down. And I've worked with a couple of my clients for mindset coaching, and it's like to basically help build their self-esteem or their self-confidence so they can actually achieve a goal. And so with doing that, we write down their task, and when we walk away, I give them a whole plan of all the steps that they need to take in order to achieve that goal. And then they're like, wow, I didn't even think this was even feasible. I didn't think that was a realistic thing for me to do. But because we sat down and we wrote everything out, now it's not just a figment of your imagination anymore. This is actually a real thing that you can put into play. And these are all those specific steps that you can take to get there. So I think that's so dope. And I say, write it down, make it plain.
Make it plain.
Yes.
So the next segment is we're going to talk about, we wanted to ask you guys about your mental health.
Oh, yeah.
So
About that.
yeah. So what are you guys going to do about like your mental health?
What do you
Like
Okay.
what you going to do about it?
what?
Or
As
how
far
I'm
as
feeling.
I can answer what I think.
Okay.
On that. So when you talk about, you know, what will I do to like improve my mental health, or what am I doing now to stay mentally healthy? So I don't know, some of y'all know that somebody in my family close passed away October. It was. So this was kind of like the first person in my life that I lost that was the closest, one of the closest, you know, how you got your immediate family and one of my immediate families. And to me personally, I just look at it as kind of like this is the circle of life that we live in. That's why I want to say that, you know, we have to preach of living every day to its fullest. That's why I say sacrifice it all, because you just never know when it's going to be somebody else's last day or your last day. But to me, it's kind of similar to what we were talking about on the opposite end of us saying that what people aren't doing. Me is learning how to stick to my goals, learning how to write my goals down, doing it every day, putting myself in environments that, you know, keep me happy, keep me learning, keep me informed, and staying consistent with what I'm eating for one, staying consistent with my workouts, and staying consistent with my faith and my prayer. Those are the things that I continuously do to keep my mental sane, because it's a marathon. We got to continue to run.
For sure. That's good. That's good. I'll say I've been pretty much just listening to my body more. And a lot of times in order to do that, you got to slow down. You can't just always just be going and running and being in that automated type of process, just going up at 6, you eat, you do this, you brush your teeth. It's like everything is so robotic, right? And so a lot of the times I just taking that time to slow down and listen to what my body is saying. So sometimes my body may say, hey, we're tired and we want to get some extra sleep today. And I'm going to go ahead and indulge in that and get that extra sleep. Or if I feel like I cannot take another conversation, I cannot indulge with speaking to my family members about some latest family gossip, then I have to not answer the phone during that time and not feel ashamed about that. So setting more boundaries, but just really just listening to what my body is asking for. Your body is always talking. You just got to just take the time to listen and sit still, and it'll tell you what you need to do.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just about being more mindful of what I consume, whether that's kind of like what you were saying, what people are saying, what people are doing, especially on social media. Everybody think that's the fastest way to hit me up. I don't know why, but just because the things say green, active, or whatever, I gotta turn that thing off. That don't mean you just hit me up.
Indeed, you do.
It is. So definitely
Set the boundaries.
just limiting those things that I consume, but definitely brushing up a lot more than ever before.
For me, it's keeping my promises to myself. Like when I say I'm gonna do something, for me, doing it, sticking to it. I think the biggest mental game that you can play with yourself is tell yourself you're gonna do something and then don't do it. Because now you start to feel bad, you start to beat yourself up, and then that depression sets in, and you feel like, oh, I'm not gonna do that, right? And so for me, it's making sure whatever I said I was gonna do for me, I stick to it. Like, don't let myself off the hook. Do what I need to do. I'm good with goals. I write my goals pretty much every day. A great way to feel accomplished for me is creating a checklist every day. Like like I created the night before for the next day, and like in the morning, and I make my checklist as long as possible, because the more you check off, play the mental game with yourself, like, oh, I did this, right? So I put everything on there. I got up at this hour. I washed my dishes this morning. I made my bed. I did this. Whatever. I checked my emails. I did this, and it's just this long list of things, and it just keeps me. I'm getting closer to my goal because I did this. I did this, and making those checklists. But for me, the biggest health thing that the mental game that I'm doing is making sure I'm keeping my promises to myself.
Shout out a business that you would like for people to support.
Yeah.
I'll start. As y'all know, I'm a big YouTube guy, and I love YouTube. So these people, and we talk about the consistency of doing certain things and living out your dream. These people I would like to consider my mentors, some of my friends, even though I never met them, but they usually come on YouTube every day. This guy, his name is Uncle Larry, AKA Stock Up with Larry Jones, and his channel is called Stock Up with Larry Jones, but he mainly talks about the stock market, cryptocurrency, investing, learning how to manage your money, and then he's also a creator of music. He also creates he also does like public work where he works with youth. So that's the guy I want to shout out. He's been doing a great job. He was in LA this past weekend doing a conference. Stock Up with Larry Jones is his name.
Nice. I'll shout out Each One Teach One Residential Services. It's basically working for a developmental disabilities agency. If you want additional stream of income, you can call Renee. Her phone number is 513-375-6762.
Yeah, you cool.
Yeah,
You remember numbers?
Man,
The only number I remember is mine.
no, that's right.
So I'm ever stuck. I'm gonna call that number I just.
Right.
I say shout out to Big J's. Just he got on the one of America's. It's a TV show. I forgot what it's called, but he just got on there, and again, right here in our city. So appreciate him for continuously growing the business, even though it's been tough, it's been hard. No, I ain't been there. It's cause you far, you know that. But yeah,
You
appreciate
got a
it.
phone number?
You know.
I don't remember. I remember that. Just type in Big J's, you will find it, and that's it, man.
Like all day.
A business I want to shout out. Catch Me If You Can. It's a restaurant. It's
Yes,
inside-
they got good food.
It's inside of the Madisonville kitchen, the Madisonville kitchen on Madison Road, and they actually just opened up an actual location. So I don't know
Catch Me If You Can.
the new location yet, but it's a Black-owned restaurant. Food is amazing. Please go check them out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and shout out
Second
Black On.
that.
Yeah. Oh, shout out Black On too.
Yeah, their anniversary
Yeah,
this weekend.
yeah, it's coming up. They got all type of apparel. It's just Black On. So definitely come and go shop with them and support them.
For sure.
With that being said, I think that's it. We waiting on the something.
Hey, shout out to mental health, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, that's another one for us, and we out.
There it is.